you see sitting beside me right now is my guest in focus will be Kurt Howgate, IAF Director for Arm Wrestling in the state of Maine, and the founder of the Northeast Arm Wrestling Message Board. Hi, Kurt. How you doing?
Not too bad.
Good.
Glad you came down.
Okay, it was great afternoon. I'm glad you had us here. First of all, good afternoon to Arm Wrestling. How did the tournament went?
The tournament went great. I had about 80 entries.
Really?
That's really good for Maine. A lot of times we only get 50 or 60 adult entries. Today it was all adults. Had about 80 entries. So had some great matches in the Armwrestlemania class. Ended up giving away $700 to Tim Bresnan took first. Regent Jr. took second. Eric Gibbon took third, and a local guy ended up taking fourth.
Oh, great! So, $750 for that was just the one class.
Yeah, it was one open class, separate from the tournament. Just something I wanted to try. The owners of this place really happy, so hopefully next year maybe we can do something even more. Maybe we'll have a 198-pound money class. Seemed to go over real well. The audience was right into it. So. Well,
I tell you what, there was in that class some pretty exciting matches, and it always seems to be a little bit more when there's a little bit of money on the line, right?
Oh, definitely, yep.
Yeah. So first, tell us a little bit about you. How did you get first interested in arm wrestling?
Well, I'm gonna say, like most people, started doing it in high school. You know, I have a brother, so naturally we have that competition anyway.
A bit of
rivalry there. So, you know, arm wrestling on the kitchen table, arm wrestling at school, you know, in the cafeteria, things like that. Eventually heard about a local tournament back in '98 and ended up getting on the mailing list. You know, back then there really wasn't a whole lot online, or at least I didn't know about it anyway. So.
Well, actually, I mean, I think you're correct. Your first assumption is correct that there really wasn't a whole lot online. There was little pockets of information, but really until you started the Northeast board, there was the AAA message board that Frank and Karen Bean had going, and the AAA pullers were using it, but it didn't seem like it was being used universally by the majority of the arm wrestlers. So what is that part of the reason why you start the Northeast board?
There was really one reason why I initially started that board was, one, the AAA message board was one that I went to all the time, and I loved it. You know, it was the only one going. The problem is there was a lot of names on there that, one, for one thing, the number one reason was there was no photographs of these pullers. So,
okay,
you know, and I was kind of new to the sport. So, and there was all these names going around. I didn't know who they were, what they looked like, and, you know, I just wanted a visual. So I, you know, now I didn't know what you looked like before, and now I do because of the board. And I recognize you today.
Well, you know, I know this is the first time we met, so I'm walking up, and you're not totally foreign, you know what, because I've seen your picture.
Right.
I knew basically who to look for. So, you know what, I like that idea. I also like the idea that for the most part, you make the people provide names. Now, you allow me, ArmsportVideos, Gary, ArmTV, Pete Milano, the Hater, certain guys to use little nicknames. But for the most part, everyone uses their own name.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm pretty proactive at making sure that people are registered under their real name. There's a few guys that will change it to their nickname or whatnot, and you know I'm not gonna be you know, Hitler and be too controlling on there. Yeah, this is my brother that just crossed over the camera. So,
we're going to shot at him later, but
he's always trying to get in my spotlight. But
well, so I mean, for example, Gary Roberts, ArmTV. Everybody knows who ArmTV is. On the board, everybody knows that it's Gary. So Gary using his nickname isn't that big of a deal. I never thought.
Right. No.
So I assume that you allow me to use the name ArmsportVideos because most people know that it's me.
Right.
And there's a picture of me. I'm not trying to hide. There's a picture of me now.
Yeah. You know, if it got carried out of, you know, got out of control, you know, I could actually go in there and code the board so that nobody can change the display name. I don't want to have to do that. So, and it's fine. It's working right now. You know, everybody's happy. I'm not going to cause trouble because someone wants to put their nickname on there. But, we'd like your real name to be on there. And, of course, your photo. So,
yeah,
it's working good.
So now, how do you feel that the board has progressed in the few years that you've been doing it? You like the way it's going, the direction?
Oh, yeah, definitely gotten some good feedback over the last, 2 or 3 years. I initially started it as the team main board.
Okay.
There's a few members that probably remember the way it looked then. It was all decorated with team main, graphics, things like that. And it slowly evolved because a lot of the members that were not from Maine were frequently, they're on the board a lot. So it was beyond the main board at that point.
Okay.
So, and then I kind of changed it to, it had like an American flag theme, and by then we're starting to get a lot of international members, and obviously that flag theme really wasn't appropriate anymore, so changed it to the Northeast, and that's kind of where it's at right now. I'm always trying to update it, and the thing is with that board, everybody's welcome. Novices, pro pullers, any sanction, so there's no favoritism.
Well, no, I mean, definitely not, because what I see, I mean, you have a legend in arm wrestling, John Brzezinski, is on the board, right from some guy who hasn't even entered a tournament yet.
Yeah.
And they all get to voice their opinion on
right.
whatever the subject happens to be, right? So.
Right. Yeah, it's great that we got some of these pullers on there that, have been well known for the last 10 years or so, 10, 20 years. John Brzezinski, he joined, and Ron Bath, and, Cleve Dean, and a lot of the international guys. And I should have named anybody's name because I should name them all off now, but.
Well, no, that's okay. You know what? I'll take the flack. I can name a few names and
yeah.
That type of thing. But it really has exploded from a team main board until this really is an international board.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if you keep track of how many countries you have people visiting from.
I don't have a number in my head about how many countries, but always trying to get more international members.
Yeah.
I incorporated the flag theme in everybody's profile. So it's another visual so that people can see your picture. They can see down, there's the flag of your country. It kind of, just adds another dimension to everybody's post, I'm not saying this is like the next coming of Christ here, the board, but it's working, and I think these things have, panned out pretty well. So. Well,
yeah. Well, from what you were saying, we started off to be the team main board, and it almost took on a life of its own, and has grown into basically one of the main, not the state of Maine, but the main spots for information. And it's where so many pullers go and talk and toss ideas back and forth, good and or bad. But there's an awful lot of communication because of the message boards.
Right. There's a whole gamut of topics on there. You're going to get a mix of everything. You're going to get, and I've said this before in other interviews, but there's the training, and then there's tournament topics, but it goes to the other end of the spectrum sometimes to some off-color stuff, some stuff that people don't always agree what they're talking about. Yeah. But that's life. That's the way it is.
That's going to be tough for you as a moderator to know. Okay, where's the line?
Yeah.
Okay, and when you cross it, okay, well, geez, what should I do?
Yeah,
that's going to be a tough decision.
Yeah, it's almost. It's never a tough decision on some of these different things that pop up off and on.
Yeah.
And not everybody is going to be always happy.
No, definitely not.
Some, whether, I've, on a rare occasion, I'll suspend somebody, and people want to. So, but that was only for a day. So,
it was, and Pete actually brought that up today.
Yeah, I'm glad Pete's a member of the board. I mean, I wouldn't want him not to be. You know what I mean? Because he does have a lot of information. I think he's good for the sport. He's done a lot of good things with his tournaments, lining up some incredible super matches. So, I think I permanently kicked off like one person on the board, and
you know what? And we don't even need to talk about that. That's fine and dandy. So okay, that's enough for the Northeast board. So now, maybe as a result of the board, though, definitely as a result of the internet, I'm not sure how much and how active the sport of arm wrestling was in Maine before you started the board, but we seem to be hearing a lot more about it now. Is it because of the board, the internet, all of the above, or are you more active now than you used to be?
Well, I wouldn't say. I started having tournaments in Maine back in like 90, 98, 99, something like that. I forget, but I was having one a year.
Okay.
And so I don't think it's really because of the board that you know more about Maine arm wrestling, because actually my Maine website was up before the message board ever came to fruition. So it's just with the board now, there's a lot more exposure. People are more attuned to what's going on up here because there's one central location people can go to. They can see what's going on around the world.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately it's probably taken away a lot of the hits from my main site. They just go to the board, and I don't blame them. That's where I go first. So, you know.
Well, yeah. Then if they don't need to come to the board, or the main site, if they can get their information right from the board.
Right.
I mean, I got the information about this tournament from the board. Oh,
Right.
Slam on the Stand. I talked to. There was supposed to be more guys from Nova Scotia, Canada, but they didn't show. So, and then contact you to see if it's okay to come down, type of thing. But so now, how many tournaments a year are you putting on now?
This is the second tournament I've had this year, in 2007. I really need to have one more, and that's going to be the main states. I'm not sure when that's going to be, but I'm supposed to have one main state championships every year.
Okay.
That's part of being the director of the IAF, so I got to get going on that. Obviously, it's going to be sometime in the fall or in the early winter.
Right.
So, but that'll be it. You know, that'll be my third tournament this year, and that'll be it. But
okay, now as for you yourself, arm wrestling. So now, what is it you want to do next? So I don't really know a whole lot about you arm wrestling.
Yeah. Well, yeah. See, I'm an arm wrestler first.
Yeah.
That was, you know.
I don't think people know that though. Really?
Well, maybe not. I mean, I do arm wrestle, and I.
Just one sec, Kurt. Okay, short break there, and we're back again with Kurt Howgate, founder of the Northeast Board and director of the IAF. Before we took a break there, we started talking about you yourself as an arm wrestler, and you're telling us that you're an arm wrestler first. But now, me, for example, the first time I heard your name was basically because of the Northeast Board. So you say you're an arm wrestler first. So what is it you want to do arm wrestling now?
Well, arm wrestling, I do it strictly for fun.
Okay.
You know, I keep things in perspective. You know, I'm not going to be top ranked. I don't care about being the top rank puller. You know, I just want to arm wrestle every now and then. You know, take home an award, and you know, on a rare occasion, I might take some money, but I try not to rest all my happiness on being the best and winning the money. It's not like that. I just want to be able to pull once in a while, and you know, I do all right. You know, I have my share of trophies and you know, a few, you know, titles, things like that. But
so, I mean, now do you is a trip to the Nationals, a shot there, is that in the future? You want something you want to go to?
Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to go to the Nationals again. I went twice. I took fourth in the left 242s back in 2004. The next year in 05, I didn't end up placing. That was one of the sickest classes I've ever been in. There was like 18 guys, all top pullers. So I was a bit outmatched.
Yeah.
So, but it was fun. And I'm not sure when I'm going to compete again on the national scale, but I'm going to Mohegan.
Okay.
That's a definite.
Yeah.
That's coming up in 2 weeks. So
Mohegan now. Now I know Pete Milano is hosting a tournament down in Connecticut. Now is that something you would travel to, or is that?
I have not been to the Black Bear yet for one of his tournaments. That one is like 4 hours away from me, and I normally won't travel more than 3.5 hours.
Okay.
But you never know. I might go. He's trying to work out the weight classes. If he's got a 242 class, that would sound pretty appealing to me. So.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to have to be moving.
Yeah,
so.
They're packing up around us here.
Yeah, they seem to be.
I got to set this gig up. I'm supposed to be start playing at 8 o'clock.
Okay, well, we'll get ready your way. That's okay. So, again, I'd like to thank Kurt Howgate for having us here in Old Orchard Beach, Maine. And they really are literally packing up around us.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sitting down and having a
Hey,
chat
no
with
problem.
us.
Yep.
And I love coming down. It was a great venue. You look outside over the ocean.
Yeah, this is, I think, one of the best places I've had yet. I mean, the view and just the atmosphere is great. So.
Yeah, and all afternoon it was great. So, Kurt, it was nice to meet you. Thanks very much. We appreciate it. Okay, Scott McGinnis for Kurt Howgate and ArmsportVideos in Focus. And we're out of here.